The Let's Marry Harry reunion finale landed on Netflix on August 26th, and the drama wasted absolutely no time getting messy. What was supposed to be a reunion quickly turned into a tense face-off between bride Amber Mozo and groom Harry Jowsey. Old issues came rushing back, emotions were running high, and it became obvious that these two had very different stories about what went wrong.
You told everyone you want to be a husband, and then you get off the cameras and you want to act like a pig and play in my face, and you wanted to film with a big influencer girl, and you wanted to be seen left and right, and then hide me and tuck me away, and make me...
And they called me. Netflix
yeah,
was
and
like,
what did I say to you on the show? If you bring me into the world, you better respect me. You treated me like trash the whole time. Like, enjoy being in a marriage where I'm gaslit, manipulated, and emotionally abused. So I ran for the hills once I saw what you're about when the cameras...
Yeah, we just went seeing eye to eye in Australia. And again, there was...
And why?
What do you want to say?
I would love for you to say.
We just weren't connecting. That was just the biggest thing. We just realized we're probably not each other.
Then came the reveal that changed the entire picture. Amber revealed that she and Harry ultimately broke up and ended their marriage. But Harry recently added a surprising twist of his own, clarifying that their union was never actually legalized following their televised wedding. So while viewers watched them get married on screen, Harry's clarification raised a major question about what their relationship actually looked like once the camera stopped rolling.
And how does that work? So you're married, like are you sporting a band? How does that work?
Yeah, we got a band or something like that.
You're like not showing your hand, like his hands are literally behind his body right.
He's still holding the ring somewhere. What I want to tell everyone is when we filmed the show, there were certificates, but they weren't submitted because it would have ruined the show. They're out there. I just don't know where they are when they're getting submitted.
Are you happy?
I'm the happiest I've ever been. My life is so amazing, but I just need everyone to pray for me at this reunion because my first ever one. I got a feeling the claws are going to come out. I've seen some already. I think just most nervous about, honestly, the girls that have been the most vocal were the ones that were going on like the first day, and I don't really know them. So it's like very interesting to see how passionate they are. And I'm like, we don't even know each other. We met a year ago for 10 minutes, all good, but like, I think that would be interesting because I've never been in a 20v1 situation.
Now, what message would you have for fans just who are supporting you and Amber on this journey?
Guys, be nice, be lovely, be caring, and just stay tuned. There's a lot to come.
His reaction. Harry Jowsey seems super upset by the fans' reactions to the outcome of his reality show, Let's Marry Harry. And he has been all over social media trying to explain himself. And now he just made a video blaming Netflix as to why the wedding wasn't real. Now, if you're unaware, Harry Jowsey just came out with a dating show on Netflix where at the end he had to choose someone to marry. Personally, I feel like the show should have ended in an engagement versus a whole ass wedding because that would have helped make things feel a little bit more believable. But that's just my opinion, and that's neither here nor there. So spoiler alert, Harry ends up marrying a woman named Amber. But since the finale, eagle-eyed fans have noticed that it doesn't seem like Harry and Amber are still together. And then we learned that their wedding wasn't even legally binding. And obviously fans are kind of upset. They feel like they've invested all this time into this reality show that just ended in a fake wedding, where the two allegedly ended up breaking up shortly after filming wrapped anyways. But now Harry Jowsey is taking to social media explaining exactly how that wedding day went down. He said he arrived at the ceremony, everybody's friends and families are there, they walk down the aisle, they say I do, they kiss. But then they bring everyone who's at the wedding into like these holding rooms while Harry and Amber went back to the house and signed all the paperwork. But according to Harry, they were told that none of this paperwork could be submitted until after the reunion. And Harry claims that if they submitted that paperwork that day, all of the money and time invested in the show would have been for nothing because it would have been ruined and you guys wouldn't watch the show. And I think what he means by that is like if they submitted that paperwork, maybe it would have then become public information and the ending of the show would have been spoiled because we'd know who Harry ended up marrying. I think that's what he means. Harry also includes in this video that he actually almost ended up spoiling the outcome for everybody himself because there was a Dumois tip of him and a mystery woman getting close in Hawaii and it was him and Amber. But I do feel like he included that in this video to be like, hey, look guys, I really was with Amber. We really were keeping it a secret. Since like I said, everyone's kind of pissed that it doesn't seem like he and Amber even stayed together. So Harry ends this video by saying, you will see at the end of the reunion whether or not that paperwork gets submitted or gets torn up. Meaning if he and Amber actually stayed married or broke up. Now again, like I said, the rumor mill is saying that these two never really even stayed together after the show. And something I forgot to mention is that allegedly Amber posted a photo with a guy, I think like getting onto a jet, that everybody noticed wasn't Harry Jowsey. And I think she's since deleted that photo, but it again leads us to believe that she's with somebody else now. But I guess we're gonna have to wait until the reunion to find out for sure.
But that was only the beginning. Amber then pointed to Harry's relationship with a, quote, big influencer as a serious point of contention during their honeymoon. She didn't just vaguely hint that another person had become an issue either. Referring directly to the unnamed influencer, Amber told Harry, "You met your girlfriend on our honeymoon." That is a huge allegation, and Harry's side of the story,
"It was fake marriage." Wait, guys, shut up, you silly little wombat. Let me explain how it all worked. One thing to note, I've never been married before. I don't know how a wedding works. I don't know the order of things. I don't know But on the day of the wedding, I just thought you show up, say I do, have a little smooch, and get the hell out of there, go on a honeymoon. But this is how it went down. So basically, the morning situation happened, which I'll do a separate video on, saying goodbye to Dannelle. But once we get there, all our friends and family there, I'm saying hi to everyone, oh my God, I can't believe it, whatever else, we do the ceremony. Then once that is done, they take everyone away and put them in holding rooms or holding stables because we were on a farm. They took me and Amber back up to the house, which is where you see that video where I'm like, see you never. When we're up there, that was when we were signing all the paper and all that stuff. And obviously, because it's a TV show, they said, we can't submit this until after the reunion. Because basically, if they submitted it on that day, all the money, all the time, everything like that, everything they invested in the show would have been for nothing because it would have been ruined and you guys wouldn't watch the show.
The wedding was painted a very different picture. According to Harry, Netflix asked him to avoid public dates with Amber after the pair had already been spotted together in Hawaii before their honeymoon. In his version of events, keeping things out of public view was connected to the show rather than proof that something suspicious was happening. Amber clearly wasn't buying that explanation though, and that's where the timeline gets especially interesting. If Harry says there were production-related reasons for them not to be publicly seen together,
bring to, I guess, the show, and why was it important to have Georgia there? Like, what does she bring to, I guess, the show, and like, how well does she know you?
Well, I think first off, the shock factor is pretty crazy, like pretty wild, because we've had quite a rocky past. But to be honest, Georgia and me are basically pretty much like the same person. Like we realized that after we'd broken up and so how we kind of got reconnected was after my dad had passed, she reached out and she was like, hey, no matter what, just want to make sure you're all good. And obviously I can't discount that. Like that was the most incredible thing. Yeah. And a lot of friends didn't reach out. And the fact that like she put everything to the side and wanted to make sure I was all good was really special. So then we started talking, we reconnected, and we're like, fuck, we should have just stayed like best friends because like we're so good at being friends. And so then when this show kind of came about and they had the interviews with her, she was obviously like, it's obviously scary. Like I couldn't imagine if my ex was like, hey, can you come in this house and there's 20 studs that want to marry me and you have to help pick. I would be like, I'm all good. I'm going to go home. Like, I can't do it. So the fact that she was brave enough to be like, you know what, no matter what, I'm like going to put all of our problems to the side publicly and then do this show is honestly so incredible. But it was nice for her to have her there because I couldn't really fuck around, to be honest. Because like she's seen me at my best. She's seen me at my worst. She's seen me play mind games or be naughty or whatever else, or be a little bit too flirty with other people. Like she's seen it all. So it was hard to kind of get shit away from her. And that's, well, I guess the point of having her there. But yeah.
What does she know about you that you don't even know about yourself?
I don't know. Honestly, she's probably seen, she's seen basically every side of me, even like with the grief stuff and with my dad, like, She's really been there through everything. She's also like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
while Amber believes another relationship became an issue during their honeymoon, then viewers are left with two very different accounts of what was really happening at the time. And somehow the reunion got even more serious from there. Amber raised concerns about how she felt Harry had treated her during their relationship, while Harry denied the accusation of emotional abuse. That distinction matters. The allegation is disputed, and the reunion presented conflicting accounts rather than establishing it as a proven fact.
One of the most daunting decisions I've had to make, because I have two incredible women standing in front of me. I think the hardest part about that whole experience, and I couldn't sleep the night before the wedding because I was like, the hardest part is that someone is going to be heartbroken. And I was really, really worried about that and really worried about hurting someone. And I couldn't blame these guys for the decision because it was kind of ultimately all on me. I think anyone would be lucky to marry either of those girls. Yeah, it really wasn't an easy decision at all, but I think I kind of just leaned into the signs of seeing my dad, and just how things were with Amber was just always incredible. And I just really loved her free spirit. And I think that, again, it could have gone either way and it would have been a great decision.
However, there was one major point where their stories appeared to overlap. Harry agreed that their trip to Australia became a breaking point in the relationship. Whatever had been building between them before that trip, Australia seems to have marked the stage where their problems could no longer be simply brushed aside. And that leaves some pretty big questions hanging over this entire reunion. When did this relationship actually start falling apart? Was the honeymoon already showing cracks that couldn't be repaired? What exactly was behind the disagreement involving the unnamed big influencer? And does Harry's explanation about Netflix asking him to avoid public dates change how you see Amber's side of the story? Or does it leave you with even more questions? There's also the marriage twist itself. If their televised wedding was never legally finalized, does that change how you look at their breakup and everything that happened afterward? Or do the emotional commitments they made on the show matter more than the paperwork? This reunion gave viewers two sharply different versions of a relationship that looked very different from the outside.
Of Let's Marry Harry, and also not at all surprised. Obviously, spoilers, do with that what you will. I say I'm shocked because Harry did get married. I mean, not legally, no paperwork was actually filed. I've seen a lot of people ask about this, but he chose Amber over Dannelle, made his way down the aisle, and said I do. I will say Harry putting on those glasses and saying, I wanted my dad to see how beautiful you are too. That was a very sweet moment, which to me is actually the perfect dichotomy that is Harry Jowsey. He can be so charming, and in that moment, I believe absolutely authentic. I am just kind of shocked that he actually went through with this little ceremony at all. Why not just agree to date? Now, the reason it didn't surprise me at all was because there was no world in which I thought he was picking Dannelle. After only sleeping with Amber and speaking about her with the reverence with which he did. I mean, tell me what you thought, but to me it was painfully obvious. And now the girls and Harry have started talking about things online. The drama is boiling over. So I do love that we are getting a reunion in 2 weeks, but overall the show to me was kind of meh. They didn't give us enough of the stories of the girls to actually care about them at all. The show put all its chips on Harry being compelling enough to carry it, and forgot that The Bachelor works because we're also invested in the girls, not just the lead. So overall to me, this kind of just became background noise, but listen, I'm happy for their happiness, okay?
So now I want to hear where you stand. Which explanation made the most sense to you, and what moment from the reunion changed your opinion the most? Drop your take in the comments and keep the discussion respectful, because serious allegations should be treated fairly when the people involved disagree about what happened. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more updates, share this video with someone who's been following the drama, and comment below with your biggest unanswered question from the reunion.
What I was picking up from Harry Jowsey on Call Her Daddy is that Harry and Amber are no longer together. Now, it's just my interpretation of things, but he says some very pointed things. He actually touched on something that I think is widely overlooked, not discussed when it comes to these reality dating shows when you're down to like a final two and you have to pick one. And that's how it's supposed to be the happiest moment, whatever, if it's a final rose or in his case, if he's walking down the aisle. How you reconcile that with simultaneously having a heartbreak. And Harry flat out says, I was not excited about getting married because I was so concerned about hurting someone at the same time. He said he was constantly going back and forth in his head whether or not to pick Dannelle or Amber, and then Alex asked, well, why did you choose Amber? And he lists a lot of good things about her. She's a free spirit. She was very comforting in a very chaotic environment. But he said he was always second guessing, even up until the very moment that he chose Amber. And Alex's response was, fallouts are gonna come from this. So that to me felt like they're no longer together. But then at the end of the interview, he was talking about the reunion and he says, I'm in such a good place now, everything is perfect, so bring on the reunion. So like, I don't know. Harry Jowsey stays confusing me.